Who the fuck do you think you're talking to? Oh, yeah? Huh? Okay.
Welcome to the After Hours in the Cantina podcast. Please enjoy our review of Martin Scorsese's classic, Taxi Driver.
Welcome to After Hours in the Cantina with Los, aka Fat Rooster.
And Murdock.
Welcome to our very first episode to our podcast where we will be discussing film, other things of pop culture, maybe books, anime, whatever the fuck. Well, our first topic's going to be on Taxi Driver, which was starring Robert De Niro and Harvey Keitel and directed by
The great Martin Scorsese.
Well, first off, hey, thank you for having us out here, Ethan. Murdock. Thanks for having us out here, man. It's great to be here to doing the podcast, man. So tell me, how was it? How that you got into Taxi Driver? Like, who told you about it? How'd you get into it?
Well, my father was telling me about a movie called Goodfellas. I was scrolling through Netflix one night, and he said, "Oh yeah, it's a really good movie," and he considers it to be one of the best gangster movies of all time. So I figured, okay, all right, and I'm like, well, who's the director? And I'm like, okay, Martin Scorsese. I've heard the name. So I started Googling his other films and stuff, and well, one came up, like there was tons of like Raging Bull, Casino, and I was like, oh yeah, these sound really cool. One that really just blew me away was the plot of Taxi Driver. So I started reading more about it, and I'm just like, I have to watch this. Well, with the magic of Netflix, they had it. So after I was done watching it, I couldn't believe what I watched. I was just immediately just blown away.
Like when you were watching it, what was like your initial feeling? Not only during, but afterwards. Like what was it like? Whoa! Like what the fuck did I just watch?
Well, I can tell you before, I figured it was going to be a boring movie. Yeah. I had a feeling it was okay. A guy driving around a town. Oh God, okay. But after I had watched it, I just sat there for a moment thinking, am I okay mentally? Like after watching this, because especially the ending. I think the ending and some parts in the middle were just really like, I can probably relate to like the first maybe 40 minutes of the movie, and then like after that, it takes off on a whole new level, and you can really see how the character of Travis Bickle really is, and also you can take that as like, you can really see how far you can push someone's boundaries into them just, one day snapping.
Fucking crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
Just snapping.
Well, what's it called? Well, I was introduced to the movie by my grandpa, and actually when he told me about it, he was looking for like DVD copies of it, but he couldn't find it like at a Goodwill or some shit. But what ended up happening was he ended up passing away. Then one day, actually, it was on Netflix, and then I'm like, oh fuck it, I'm gonna watch it, and after I got done watching it, I go, are you fucking kidding me, man? That was a badass movie, dude. And what I find strange, I'm gonna find strange. What I really like about it is how many references other movies make off of it, and like straight up copy Taxi Driver. They're like a good example is Death Sentence with Kevin Bacon. At the very end of the movie, they have a shootout. The guy's his fucking hand gets blown off, and he gets shot in the neck. Tons of references. But when I watched it, I was like, wow! Like, not only was this a great movie, this was actually one of the best like I have ever seen. I've seen tons of movies, man. This still holds up to this day, even 40 fucking years later, man. Like, there's nothing out there like it, dude. Like, why do you think that is?
Well, I think the movie is just very, very unique because of its. Honestly, I really can't think of another movie that's really like that. I know some people have compared the Joker movie, the one with Joaquin Phoenix, to Taxi Driver, but I really don't see any.
No, I haven't seen that, man.
I have not seen that either. I've seen pieces of it.
How the fuck are they comparable then?
Well, I mean, because going off topic real quick, Joker is about a man who completely, they try to change the origin story a bit.
Yeah.
Man just goes psycho, blah blah blah. But I don't really see any of that connection to Taxi Driver, and I don't really know any other movie that has a sort of is like Taxi Driver. So I think I really like Taxi Driver because of that. There's no other movie like that, because people can say like,
you'll be surprised. You know why I say that? Because if you really think about it, if you watch the movie again, it's kind of like a Western in some sort of way. And you go, what the fuck do you mean, Rooster? And I go, well, if you think about it, Travis's taxi is like his horse. He has a revolver, and he dresses up as a native, and he also has his knife on his boot. Of course, his cowboy boots, and he also tries to rescue the damsel in distress. Iris. Yeah, Iris. But it's kind of a Western in a way, because I want to say a Western, but Western-esque. It has Western elements in it, where it's kind of, people say it's kind of comparable to The Searchers with John Wayne, and it's kind of almost the same plot. But he also needs to find himself, like his manliness or whatever. And it also has like a different kind of a bunch of different stories in it, with like, oh well, here's one part where he takes a girl to the porno theater, then he ends up meeting Iris, but he doesn't end up like fucking her, but he wants to rescue her, and in my opinion, I think he really feels like he has to prove himself rescuing her toward the end of the movie.
I guess I can see it that way, even though I wasn't a big fan of Westerns as a kid. Actually, I think the only Western film I really did like was Tombstone, but I didn't grow up. It is. We should review that one sometime.
Yeah, no shit.
But no, actually, I think it was my grandpa that grew up more with the John Wayne stuff, and I like some of the Clint Eastwood stuff. But yeah, I never really saw the movie as a Western. I've always seen it as more as a cult film, really. And now there's a lot more people that know about it, but I feel like before that, there wasn't a lot of people, because I mean, like I said, everybody was talking about Goodfellas and Casino, but it was like, it seems like Taxi Driver is just a very unique and I would say an unforgettable film. It really is. I mean, it changed the way I look at cinema. I think that's I think that movie right there is a I always think of it as like a midnight movie. You would watch it.
Yeah,
it's like,
dude.
yeah, go to like those dollar theaters and you'll see it there. It's kind of like at least what I think about it. But I mean, you had such great casting as such, like Robert De Niro and Harvey Keitel, Sybil Shepherd,
and fuck, Harvey Keitel?
Uh-huh.
Who the fuck was he in the movie?
Sport.
The fucking pimp?
Yes.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
I swear.
So that's weird. I never saw it. Well, I don't think I paid enough attention to the credits to fucking know that.
Well, you know what? One casting that really shocked me was I found out that Jodie Foster played that 12-year-old girl.
Yeah.
And when I found out about it, I'm like, Jodie Foster is in like the
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah, like no expression, Jodie Foster, the one who looks all serious all the time. Man, I never really cared for her, but I actually liked her role in this one. She was really good, especially for being 12 years old. She was very intelligent. I liked her performance in it, especially with everybody else. I think
super young, dude.
Oh yeah, she was. I think she was 12 when she did that.
Holy shit.
Yeah,
dude.
She looked a little older than that, but yeah, she was 12, and yeah, I really like the casting. Robert De Niro's great. He was really young in that film too.
Dude, so like when I first watched it, I just go, what the fuck? Like, damn, he's young, dude. He looks like he's like 21. Actually, I didn't know how old he was in that movie, but he was young,
I think he was 26 when I read it. I think he was like in his mid-20s, I think.
Wow.
But yeah, he was a very, very young guy, especially when that part he has his shirt off. I was just like, dude, because I've seen the guy now, he's fat. but I look at him in Taxi Driver, and I'm like, holy shit, that was only, 45 years ago? And I was like, holy crap, man. I always say the same thing about Arnold. How that guy is jacked, and now he looks all flabby.
I think that had to do with a little thing called steroids.
Yeah. Another topic for another story.
Another topic, yeah. But so when I was so I found this in a YouTube comment. I was just watching a couple clips on it, and a guy. So in the scene where Travis is driving, and he drives that fucking dude around at night. And he goes, oh, you ever seen what a 44 Magnum does to a pussy? and so when I first watched it, I go, what the fuck, dude? Right? But then when I was reading the YouTube comments, it turns out that was the fucking director.
Yeah.
That dude. So
Yep.
that dude, and the fun fact about it is that dude was so fucking short.
Yeah, I was just about to say.
They had to put like the big ass blankets to fucking put him up so they can see him with the camera. And I go, dude, that's actually a little fun fact about
Actually, I have another fun fact about this too. It's a old Hollywood rumor that I have heard from Quentin Tarantino himself. He has said this. He's actually has tongue twister. He has stated that Taxi Driver is one of his favorite films of all time, like in his top 10.
Yeah.
And there was a little short story where he had said that he's heard this from many people in Hollywood, and that was during the editing of Taxi Driver, the executive of Columbia, Sony, whatever, had came in and said, "Hey man, you got to cut this down to an R because you're gonna get an X rating. You have to cut this down to an R. I don't care what the hell you do, just get an R rating." Well, there was reports. It was just a rumor, but I've heard there was reports that Scorsese was drinking that night, and he threatened to go down there and shoot the executive at Columbia Pictures.
What the fuck?
Yep, and producers and stuff were trying to talk him out of it. And
I guess he was taking that little role too far.
I don't know if it's true, but Tarantino has stated that is one of the biggest rumors in Hollywood.
Holy shit.
And I've always thought about it, like, I can totally see him doing that, but, I mean... it's just funny, little short dude walking in with a gun.
Well, the directors take their job fucking seriously, and I don't understand how it would have been X-rated. There was barely any nudity in that movie, and compared to now, with what we have in movies nowadays, those should be fucking X-rated compared to fucking Taxi Driver, dude.
Well, another fun fact, actually, this is the second collaboration between Scorsese and De Niro because
the Taxi Driver.
There was Mean Streets, which I have not seen yet.
I haven't seen that one yet.
It's pretty hard to find on Blu-ray, I'll admit, but I found the DVD. But I have all his movies on Blu-ray, but I wanted to match on my shelf, you know. I've not seen that yet, but he's done. Let's see, he's done Mean Streets, Taxi Driver. I think the next one was The King of Comedy, which I have not seen yet either, which was directed by Scorsese. He's done Goodfellas. He's done one of my favorites, Cape Fear, the remake, Casino, The Irishman. So I've seen
a couple clips on that one on YouTube. And shit.
It's a long movie. I've not seen it all. It's on Netflix, but it's a long movie. It's like 3 hours and 40 something minutes.
So going back to Taxi Driver, what kind of genre do you think this would fit under?
I would say maybe is cult a genre?
No, cult's not. Cult's not a genre. Cult's more like a certain type of people.
Maybe
know about
drama.
The movie.
Or thriller, sort of a drama thriller.
Drama thriller, yeah. I would somewhat add a Western-esque in there as well. I think my favorite scene out of that whole movie. Well, one of my favorite scenes was when he goes to that when he buys the guns, and the one thing I just don't like about that scene is there were so many guns in the fucking suitcases, and he didn't explain all of them. Of course, that would have taken a long fucking time, but the 44 Magnum is like my favorite. The way they zoom in on it and they tilt the camera, they examine it. Then when he gets to 38 and he points it outside of the window at the people, like I really like that. And there we go, Easy Andy, the guy that fucking sells it to him. That fool can sell ice to a fucking Eskimo, dude. Like that guy was such a good salesman, but like I said, a lot of movies tend to copy that scene, and I forget the name of this other movie where the guy sells this other dude an AK at a fucking motel, and at the very end he goes, "Oh, do you want meth, weed? What else you need?" You know.
I was just about to mention that. Yeah, where I love how right at the end of that scene where he's like, "Do you want a Coke? Weed, heroin?"
No, I don't do any of that.
You want some Quaaludes? Or he tries to sell him the car. I got the pink slip for it.
I'd be like, shit, man. What was it in those 2 days? He said $2,000 for a fucking brand new Cadillac.
And I got the pink slip and everything.
What's it called, man? If I don't have my inflation calculator with me, but I bet that's a lot of fucking money in today's dollars, man.
Well, another one of my favorite scenes in Taxi Driver would probably be the ending where he, well, first off, he shaves his head, makes a mohawk. He gets a, yeah, which I thought was kind of cool.
See, that's where the Western-esque kind of comes in.
Yeah, and I can honestly see, the way I see it is like, okay, so with his regular hair and the way he acted in the beginning, like that was more like Travis Bickle. And then when he jumped from having the mohawk, I always thought of him as like Taxi Driver, or I mean, I'm sorry, Travis Bickle 2.0. Because, I mean, he goes psycho. This is where he ends up trying to assassinate the president. Well, first, he gets dumped by that girl. He takes her to a porno movie, and he gets upset when she dumps him for it because, you know, he's obviously had no experience in women.
He also thought that was socially acceptable, which in reality is not. Hey, newsflash, guys, don't take girls you just met to a porno theater. That's not a good idea.
And also, I don't think porno theaters exist anymore. That's all over on the internet now. But yeah, still, don't sit there and watch freaking porn on your TV when your girlfriend's watching. Yeah, be like, hey, check out this.
What's it called? Was it so? You know, at the very end of the movie when he has that shootout,
which is one of my favorite scenes,
dude. So when he pulls out the little automatic,
I want to talk about that too.
Goes,
that's
that
was so cool. You know, and yeah, he just built that from a drawer. They took the freaking, what's it called?
The hinge.
Yeah, the hinge, like the track part of it. Yeah. And just made his own holster, and it was like, how does that? And I've seen somebody on YouTube do that.
Who the fuck thinks of that?
I've actually seen somebody do that on YouTube. They made their own. I was like, I need that. But yeah, my favorite scene would be the end because when he walks in, or when he starts talking to Sport, and he's like, hey, what's up, Sport? And he goes, do I know you? Well, I don't know. And he goes, do I know you? And he goes, well, do I know you? And he's like, well, you know Iris. Well, I don't know anybody named Iris. Yeah, you do.
You know Iris.
You know Iris. And then he's like, you sure you don't know nobody named Iris? No, I don't know nobody named Iris. And then he's like, you got a gun? He's like, get the fuck out of here. And he pulls it out and just like, suck on this. And then blam.
That was with the 38, wasn't it?
Yeah,
that was with
the snub nose. Yeah, the snub nose 30. Yeah, and then he walks into the hallway and sees that other dude, pulls out the 44 Magnum and blows this guy's fingers off. That was the part that really got me, in the blood on his face. I was like, holy shit! And you can, and you know what? Like in that scene where he's like, you ever seen what a 44 Magnum does to somebody's face? Well, you ever seen what a 44 Magnum does to somebody's fucking fingers? I mean, his fingers were blown off. And the part that kind of freaked me out was when he started screaming. He's like, you son of a bitch, I'll kill you.
I don't know why he just didn't fucking kill him right then.
I know, right? And then there's like that slow motion. He's walking up the stairs and he's just staring at him with this like this long like stare.
Like a death stare.
Yeah, almost. And then as he's walking up the stairs, there's another guy who gets him right in the neck. And then he gets shot in the arm. But then he pulls out that one gun with the
automatic.
Yeah, and then like blam, 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 right in his face too.
So have you ever wondered why he tried to kill himself at the very end?
Because I always thought it was because maybe he thought, I mean, his life sucked anyway, and I felt like maybe he was just like, you know what, fuck this, I did everything in my life. And
yeah, it was actually kind of that, because he thought he had no other purpose to serve after he got done with that. That was like the main part of why it happened. It
kind of made me feel better that he survived, because I really liked the character, even though he did a lot of fucked up shit, you know, with killing all those people, but he did that for a reason, you know, and he did that to save that little girl he didn't even know, and that's what kind of gives the movie a little bit of warmth to it in some weird, disturbing way. But I love it. I really do. I love that scene so much. And then right at the end where he tackles that one dude, the knife in the hand is what got me too.
You know, those are some great special effects for the
They
time.
are, yeah.
You know, that shit still looks like,
and that was
almost
1976, real, I think. So about 45 years ago. That, I mean. And I could go on for hours about movies with perfect special effects, but another topic, another story. But yeah, I think for this movie though, the special effects are great, especially the shooting stuff and whatnot, especially with the guy's fingers getting blown off. I always wondered, like, man, like that looks so cool because they didn't have CGI back then.
And that movie, you know what? Like, somebody told me this, that that movie is just an advertisement for the 44 Magnum. That's the whole fucking point
I always thought it was a freaking advertisement for, you know, mental health issues or whatnot. Don't be like Travis Bickle.
Don't be like Travis. I find it. I always loved character names with the name Travis. You know, my dad's name is Travis, and I always tell him, "Hey, look, motherfucker, you're in the fucking movie," but.
I've actually don't know anybody named Travis besides with the person you just mentioned, but
Yeah, it's I really enjoyed it, and the ending scene when he has the blood on his fingers, and when he points the gun, he makes a finger motion gun like,
Yeah.
What I really like is how the blood drips from his fingers.
Yeah.
And you can totally tell that was not even part of the fucking script. That was just like, I don't even think that was improv. That just happened, and that just made it so much fucking better. Kind of like when you get a steak and you expect it to be a lot better than what you fucking thought it was going to be.
Right. Yeah, I think with this movie is more like there's almost certain kind of like three different stories going on is what I would say, because you got him trying to be with that girl, and he ends up getting rejected or dumped, whatever. Then he goes out and tries to assassinate I guess I can just say presidential candidate or whatever.
Or politician.
Politician. Yeah. And then he goes after and kills all these pimps to save one little girl, and it was just that goes to show you what a fucking disturbing person he is, but also what a hero he is, because I mean that's just it's amazing how complex that movie is. But I'm kind of stuttering here, but I'm trying to pick the right words. But I think this movie is amazing, and if you haven't watched it, quit listening. Stop listening to us assholes.
Stop listening to us. Yeah, go watch the fucking movie. Goddamn it.
Actually, we do want more viewers, so please listen to us. But but if you're listening to this episode, just please pause it. Watch Taxi Driver if you haven't seen it. If you have, then you know what's up. But yeah, I think this movie is amazing, and I think it'll still be a masterpiece for years and years to come. It's already.
I would regard it as a masterpiece. I would actually regard it as one of the greatest of all time.
I would actually say it's probably Martin Scorsese's masterpiece. I would say
his masterpiece.
Oh yeah, I mean maybe I would say maybe it's his best film, but I think a masterpiece. Well, another topic, another story, but yeah, I would consider maybe not his masterpiece, but maybe his best film, because
I regard it as a masterpiece, and I think it's up there with Citizen Kane.
I've actually never seen that.
Never seen it?
I need to take a look.
You know what? It's actually pretty fucking dope. A lot of people regard that as the greatest movie of all time. That's debatable. However, I really think it's up there. Maybe top 20 of all time. You can't really say the number one movie of all time, because there's plenty of number ones of all time. But I really regard this as not only just a masterpiece, but one of the greatest films like ever.
Oh, absolutely. And for being 45 years old, and this movie
still holds up.
Yeah, and I mean, I heard it just got a 4K 4K
shit.
HD release. Yeah, it's coming out in a big box set with all of the other I think Sony started doing their own movie masterpiece collections, and I guess the Volume 2 has Taxi Driver in it for the first time in 4K. So it goes to show you that this movie is still iconic, and that some of these, actually one of the reasons I found out about this movie was because of the pop culture references. One of my favorite songs by Pantera was a song called The Badge. It was off the Crow album, which I want to talk about sometime too. The Crow, one of my favorite movies. And there's a song called The Badge, and right in the beginning it's the suck on this scene. Then the song kicks in. Then right after the song, it's the you hear it fading out, and it's the "you crazy son of a bitch." And I've always thought, where did that come from? And then when I watched it, I'm like, oh, like fine, now I know what it is. I know where it's from.
It's funny when I first watched it. What's it called? When he goes, "You talking to me? You talking to me?" And I just
talking to me.
And so I had to pause the fucking movie, because I had no idea where it came from, and I was laughing so hard because I heard that "you talking to me" like my whole fucking life, and I never heard it. And when I heard it on the movie, I just go, "What? That's where the fuck it's from?" Like, wow, dude. But anyways, I think that about wraps it up. Thank you for listening. This is Fat Rooster,
and this is Murdock, and please join us next time.
And we're signing off.